the ground shook once more across the Philippines. On November 25, 2025, at 6:45 p.m. local time, a magnitude 5.5 earthquake struck off the coast of Governor Generoso in Davao Oriental, sending tremors rippling through Mindanao and beyond. Hours earlier, another quake, this time, magnitude 5.9, rocked the same region. A chilling reminder that the Philippines sits on one of the most volatile tectonic zones on Earth. But here's what's truly unsettling. These aren't isolated events. They're part of a dangerous pattern that scientists have been warning about for years. For Filipinos, earthquakes are a grim reality woven into daily life. The archipelago straddles the Pacific Ring of Fire, where tectonic plates grind, collide, and release unimaginable energy. Every year, thousands of tremors register on seismometers, most too small to feel, but some powerful enough to level entire communities. And the recent earthquakes in Davao Oriental are raising an urgent question that keeps seismologists awake at night. Are we witnessing the build-up to something far worse? To understand the gravity of what's happening, we need to look back just weeks. On October 10, 2025, a catastrophic doublet earthquake struck eastern Mindanao to massive events, magnitude 7.4 and 6.7, occurring within hours of each other. The destruction was staggering. At least 10 people died, over 1,000 were injured, and nearly 40,000 homes were damaged or destroyed. Tsunami warnings blared across 7 provinces as the Philippine Trench, deep underwater fault system, ruptured violently beneath the ocean floor. The Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology, or PHIVOLCS, scrambled to issue alerts as tsunami waves, though minor, were observed along coastal areas. The October earthquakes weren't just powerful, they were a wake-up call. The rupture extended over 90 kilometers, with fault slip reaching more than 4.5 meters in some areas. Hospitals were overwhelmed. Patients evacuated to makeshift tents as buildings cracked and buckled. In the gold mining village of Gumayon in Pantucan, a deadly landslide buried 3 people alive. The armed forces and Bureau of Fire Protection deployed emergency teams, but the scale of devastation was sobering. Damage estimates reached 2.26 billion pesos, over $45 million. But the nightmare didn't end there. Just 3 weeks earlier, on September 30th, another devastating quake struck northern Cebu, a 6.9 magnitude monster that killed at least 72 people and displaced over 20,000 families. Camped in open fields, terrified to return to their damaged homes, as aftershocks continued for days, hospitals overflowed with injured victims, and entire communities were left in ruins. The UN pledged support, but the emotional and economic toll on Filipino families was immeasurable. And now, less than 2 months later, the ground is shaking again in Davao Oriental. The magnitude 5.5 and 5.9 earthquakes on November 25th might seem smaller in comparison, but seismologists know better. These could be aftershocks from the October events, or worse. They could be foreshocks, signaling that the Philippine Trench is still under extreme stress. When tectonic forces begin to build in a region already fractured by recent major quakes, the risk of another catastrophic rupture increases dramatically. The Philippine Trench is one of the most dangerous fault zones in the world. It marks the boundary where the Philippine sea plate dives beneath the Sunda plate, in a violent process called subduction. As the ocean floor plunges into the mantle, enormous pressure accumulates along the fault. Eventually, that pressure must release, and when it does, the results can be apocalyptic. The 1976 Moro Gulf earthquake, also along this trench, killed thousands and triggered a tsunami that devastated coastal communities. The 2013 Bay Hall earthquake claimed over 200 lives, and experts warn that the big one, a massive megathrust earthquake capable of magnitude 8 or higher, is not a question of if, but when. What makes the recent Davao Oriental earthquakes so concerning is their location and depth. The November 25th tremors occurred at relatively shallow depths, just 26 and 10 kilometers respectively. Shallow earthquakes transfer more energy to the surface, causing stronger shaking and greater damage. They also indicate that the crust in this region is under severe strain. Scientists studying seismic data from the past 2 months have detected thousands of aftershocks, each one a small release of built-up energy, but also a potential precursor to something larger. For residents of Mindanao, the psychological toll is exhausting. Imagine living through a 7.4 earthquake in October, feeling your home shake violently as walls crack and furniture topples. Then, just as you begin to rebuild, another quake hits in November, and another. The constant fear of the next tremor becomes a shadow over daily life. Children refuse to sleep inside. Families keep emergency bags packed by the door. Every rumble, every vibration sends hearts racing. But fear alone won't save lives. Preparation will. The Philippines has made significant strides in earthquake preparedness. Thanks to organizations like PHIVOLCS and the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council. After the devastating 2013 Bohol earthquake, the government invested heavily in early warning systems, public education campaigns, and building code enforcement. Schools now conduct regular earthquake drills. Communities have designated evacuation routes, and PHIVOLCS operates a network of hundreds of seismic sensors across the archipelago, constantly monitoring for signs of impending danger. Yet challenges remain. Many homes in rural areas, especially in Mindanao, are still built with materials that can't withstand strong shaking. Informal settlements in urban centers lack earthquake-resistant construction, and the sheer frequency of seismic events means that even well-prepared communities can be caught off guard. The October earthquakes, for example, struck during the day when many people were at work or school, adding to the chaos and confusion. What's also alarming is the tsunami risk. When the October 7.4 earthquake struck, PHIVOLCS immediately issued tsunami warnings for coastal provinces. Although the resulting waves were small, the potential for a much larger tsunami remains very real. The Philippine Trench is capable of generating massive underwater displacement. And if a megaquake occurs closer to shore, or with greater vertical motion, the resulting tsunami could devastate low-lying coastal communities within minutes. The 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami and the 2011 Japan tsunami serve as grim reminders of how quickly these disasters unfold and how deadly they can be. Scientists are now studying the recent earthquakes to better understand the behavior of the Philippine Trench. Using GPS stations, satellite imagery, and underwater sensors, they're mapping how the fault is moving and where stress is accumulating. Preliminary data suggests that certain sections of the trench, particularly near Davao Oriental, may be approaching critical stress thresholds. If those sections rupture simultaneously, the resulting earthquake could be catastrophic, potentially matching or exceeding the destructive power of the 1976 Moro Gulf disaster. But there's hope. Filipino resilience is legendary. After every disaster, communities come together, neighbors helping neighbors, strangers becoming family. International aid has poured in from the United States, Japan, and the UN, providing essential supplies and technical support. Local government units are working tirelessly to clear debris, restore infrastructure, and support displaced families. And Filipino scientists are at the forefront of earthquake research, using cutting-edge technology to improve prediction models and save lives. The recent earthquakes are also a call to action. If you live in the Philippines, especially in high-risk areas like Mindanao, now is the time to prepare. Secure heavy furniture to walls. Keep emergency supplies, water, food, flashlights, first aid kits in an accessible location. Know your evacuation routes. Practice, drop, cover, and hold on drills with your family. And most importantly, stay informed. Follow PHIVOLCS updates, heed official warnings, and never underestimate the power of nature. The question on everyone's mind is whether the big one is coming. Scientists can't predict earthquakes with precision, but they can assess risk, and right now, the risk is high. The combination of recent major quakes, ongoing aftershocks, and the known stress along the Philippine Trench creates a dangerous scenario. The November 25th earthquakes in Davao Oriental are a stark reminder that the ground beneath our feet is anything but stable. As Filipinos, we've survived Spanish colonization, World War II, devastating typhoons, and countless natural disasters. Our strength comes from our unity, our faith, and our refusal to give up. But we must also be smart. We must prepare. We must listen to science, because the next big earthquake is coming, and when it does, preparation will be the difference between survival and tragedy. Stay vigilant, stay prepared, and remember, in a nation where the earth itself can betray us, resilience isn't just a virtue, it's a necessity. The Philippines will endure, as it always has, but only if we face the future with open eyes and ready hearts.